everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Juli Gilbert. I am the CMO and president of our workplace engagement business at Augeo, which is the parent company of BN. Some of you may have known us in years past as Brand Networks as well. So I would say over the past 15 years, we have been on the forefront of really redefining the social landscape. And as a part of that, maybe to bring a little street cred to what we do, we are, we were the launch partner for all of the social platforms and their ads API. We were also built technology for both X and Snapchat. We created brand experiences for global leading organizations like Amex and Walmart. And we were also the first partner for organic content publishing on TikTok. And so all of that in our history really lends us to have social in our DNA, and it's what we do. As we kind of stand here today in front of a room full of marketers, what is exciting the most is that we, I think, can all acknowledge and maybe agree on consumers are losing trust in their brands, right? And so as we have started to think about building back brand trust, what does that mean? What does that look like? So as we are spending more and more money on everything that we do, right? It is, and trying many, many things, right? So as an example, who has bought an office mascot costume yet, right? Anyone? We are, as brands and organizations, really jumping onto the, I would say, social content trend, right? From dances to pranks to whatever the major trend is of the week. Thank you. Whatever the major trend is of the week. And as part of that, we're actually kind of seeing some diminishing returns on it. So it's really hard to attribute. We are, most of the time, the trend is already over before we can even get the content approved, to let alone get it out the door. It's coming across as inauthentic. And so as organizations, we are missing the mark to a degree. And when we're missing the mark, it's causing distance and additional inauthenticity to the actual consumer experience. And on top of that, it just looks like we're trying way too hard. As we think about where we might find opportunities, right? What are our opportunities to really bring back consumer trust? When we were considering this, one of the largest gaps or maybe a missing audience that we might have is Gen Z. Gen Z is an incredible generation that is, I would say, building trust with both brands and peers. They are not only through their organic content, but it's authentic. People can relate to it. They like it. They are really sitting at the very center of this connection dynamic. And they're sitting on both sides of what we call a trust exchange. And within that trust exchange, they are both the arbiters and the gatekeepers of trust. And we are starting to really watch them navigate their dual roles. They've built trust. They have done it organically and authentically. And as part of that, they are really the key to driving success between brands and their consumers. And so the good thing for brands is that Gen Zers, want to influence. They want to participate. They want to contribute. And so the vast majority of them, if we think about it today, they're all content creators. And those that aren't want to be, right? And so the question I have to ask all of us is, why not let them? As we consider a solution to building back brand trust between consumers and our brands, Gen Z really sits at the middle, but also the people that do are sitting in your offices. It's your employees. If you look at any of their timelines, their For You pages, they are posting content all day at work. And one, it goes viral. People love it. It's relatable. And you also have not only your Gen Zs, but just employees in general. They're creating the content that will help to bring back that trust and building that relationship between your brand and the consumer. But it's up to you to meet them where they are today. And so how do we think about doing that? Leveraging social influencer tools is a huge way that organizations are capitalizing on this today, and supercharging the power of your people, right? Giving them a voice, helping them to really build your brand for you. They can take the content, post it out on their own channels and their own handles, and then when you start to see it go viral, when you start to see it be relatable for others, then you can boost that content with your paid media dollars. And so the most efficient and effective way of building back that trust with those audiences is really meeting them where they are today. And I would say overseeing the content that they're sharing out, because it needs to be brand safe, it needs to be approved. And so helping them help you build back that trust is your biggest asset. And as you consider some of these tools and programs, it needs to be simple. I think about our employees today, right? Everyone is so busy running a million miles a minute, whether they're in a retail store or behind a computer screen, it doesn't matter. Nobody has time to stop and think. So you have to make it easy for them. You have to make them want to do it, but also you have to brand the entire experience for your organization. They are passionate about your brand. That's why they're posting in the way that they are today. So you have to leverage and harness that brand power with them. Creating a technology that expresses your brand is extremely important. Of course, it all has to be rooted and based in ROI, right? So what employees are participating, how are the posts performing, and then how is that impacting your bottom line? And then as we consider programs, right, it's really all about what is your overall brand initiative? What are some of your products that you have? What are key initiatives that you have across your organization, all rooted in being really relatable? I think about relatable content, and it could be a fit check. It could be, a day in the life, or it could just be a funny moment. People love that, and they can relate to it. You think about, this not working for the first 5 minutes of our time together. Like, people get it. They can relate to that, right? You post about it. And I think what's really great is about these influencer programs, we've seen with a client 2 times more impressions and 3 times more engagement across channels since launching it. And we're really excited to have Walmart here with us today. And something I want to share is that they have over 500,000 pieces of content that they can use throughout the year to post out, to really create some meaningful results for their organization, both at the brand level and at the individual store level. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And then in addition to that, we actually have employee organic content. Right now today has 47% of total impressions on Facebook for Walmart, which is so awesome. We're really excited about it, but it demonstrates that these employee influencer programs are truly working for us the way that we need them to. As we kind of think about these things, posting about a sale, right, of your next product, showing a day in the life of just being in your office, doing a fit check, in new uniforms, whatever it might be. They're all ways that you can leverage the power of your employees to harness your brand voice and build that trust back between those consumers and between those organizations. So with that, I am super excited to welcome Naomi Jacobs, who is head of brand social at Walmart US. Naomi, welcome. We're really excited to have you with us.
Thank you. Hi, guys.
And I think we have been partners for over a decade, which is incredible. And I think, Naomi, I would love to hear a little bit about your perspective just on the value and importance of employee voices to build trust and to build a brand.
Of course. Well, thanks so much for having me, Julie. We are so incredibly proud of this program we've built. When you say lifting employee voices, and we call our employees associates at Walmart, but lifting our associates' voices and even just giving them a voice is profoundly important to us as a brand. And I think when I hear lifting associate voices, I think about the many, many times that I have associates come up to me in person when I've had a chance to meet them, or even just on Zoom, and they get really emotional about being part of this program, saying that it gives them joy and purpose beyond just their day-to-day role in our stores. So it's incredibly meaningful for us to be able to give them that. And in return, they are giving us a lot more. Yeah.
That's awesome. And when we're kind of focused on their voices and in stores, can you talk a little bit about, or share with us, is it building community for you, right? So we're thinking about these social influencer tools as the ways that people are connecting digitally, but then it really brings together a local presence and a community.
It does. And when you say digitally, I'm thinking of, so our founder, Sam Walton, has lots of famous quotes and sayings. One thing that is talked a ton within the store sort of ecosystem is the 10-foot rule. And it's very simple. It's essentially, if you're a store associate and someone comes within 10 feet of you, you are to say hi to them or offer them help. And that's obviously something that can only be brought to life in the store. Until we created this program, it's essentially a digital and social extension of Sam's 10-foot rule. And I wish he were around now for us to brag on this amazing program, because I think he would be incredibly proud of it as well. But when you talk about even beyond that, like community, it's hard not to think about the horrible situations that are happening in our country right now in, Florida, North Carolina. This program, sorry, I think I have a hair stuck in my lip gloss. I apologize. Very typical. I'm sure many of you are nodding in, yep, been there. In thinking about that and these, critical moments for both the associates in these stores and then also the people in the surrounding areas, this program is giving us the ability to hyper locally get information within minutes to these local areas. So whether that's store openings and closings, or we have essential products that you might need and you can get them here and you know that it's safe to come to the store, or that it's not safe to come. Just that ability to be there for them. And we also talk a lot about how, I think the stat, I need to know this for sure, but something like 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart store. So for me, it's unfathomable to me because I can be at like 57 different stores within a 10-minute radius of my house. But for many people, they rely on Walmart. It is like a lifeline to them. So to have a program like this that allows us to communicate virtually instantly in times of crisis like we're facing right now, or also in other, amazing moments where we can communicate to them. What else could bring a better sense of community, especially when we see so many of these local towns like rallying together.
Right.
It's been profound.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So maybe, Naomi, tell us a little bit about how this employee content has really impacted the brand, right? So spinning off of that a little bit, what has just this like chorus of employee content looked like, from timeline to other channels, PR, all the different methods that we leverage?
I'm going to start calling it a chorus of employee content because I love that. So, oh my gosh, I think the things that come to mind, like obviously the content first and foremost. I know you mentioned sort of the volume. Like, yes, Walmart has a very scaled associate, associate advocacy or associate as influencer program. But even if it weren't as scaled, just to be sitting on content that is low cost, it's also lo-fi. So these are created by store associates who we train, in social media, on iPhones, maybe, not the best lighting, but they perform exceptionally well because they are real and authentic. And, they show what that associate is most passionate about. And we can take that content, and yes, it is powerful in feed, but it is also, how are we using it in PDP? How are we connecting from a CRM perspective and in getting it into, local email? One of the most obvious use cases, my team manages our brand social handles and our MLS program. So when we see something performing exceptionally well, we can very quickly just send a Slack, and the next thing you know, it is up on our national handle, and we put some fuel to that fire. And we can see what content is performing the best. So we have mechanisms in place that enable us to see what is going viral, what people are responding to, and we can quickly turn that around and say, like, do we have the right stock, knowing we have this viral piece of content happening right now. And then we also turn it around and say, if this, I'm thinking of one example recently, a Yellowstone mug, like Yellowstone, the Netflix show, I think it's Netflix. This mug literally went viral in this one store. So very quickly our team says, hey, everyone in the program, this item is going viral. We can make a template, quickly get content out so they can share it even if they don't have it. And just really, again, putting that fuel to the flame. So sitting on all of that data, data is the second thing. All of those insights, what is performing well, and how do we best use that to service other areas of the business? And then lastly, just the community that it creates. So it is hard to explain, but within my own team, we manage our MLS program in partnership with corporate affairs, and we all just really feel like we're doing something good. We are, like you said, we are lifting up associate voices who often are, they're coming into their Walmarts, or they are doing really, really hard work and things that I can't even imagine that they have to do every day. And they get this opportunity to create fun content and show off the new Halloween costumes that are coming in, and really, be a part, essentially an extension of the Walmart marketing team, which is really empowering. The associates, the customers, you see that sense of community. So often, I know I mentioned products going viral, but a lot of times it is celebrating associate birthdays or anniversaries, and the amount of comments and just the joy and the love and the cheer for these people who they're pillars in their community. Sometimes they have worked at the local Walmart for 20, 30 years, and they're little mini celebrities. It's absolutely adorable, and just it starts to go viral, and then everyone else starts chiming in, even if they don't know who they are. And it's really special. And again, I keep using the word good. It just feels good to have this program in place.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What do you see? So you have this program in place today. What do you see as major opportunities for brands within the employee influencer space?
A couple things that come to mind. So, obviously everyone knows Walmart is it is the biggest company in the world. So it can be scary to hand over the reins of your brand to anyone in your store. And we're doing it with store associates who may or may not have experience in social media.
Right.
So I think we always want to stay at the forefront of innovation in new technologies around brand safety and compliance, and how are we keeping this experience safe for both the associates that are a part of it and then our brand as well. So that's an area. There are a lot of kind of emerging companies in this space, whether for social as a whole or for associate advocacy. I can't help but think of my Wordle addiction. I mean, oh my God, if I break my streak, it would be the end of me. And, just the gamification of coming back to an app every day, your Peloton streak, or, solving Wordle every day, or whatever. My kids are I want Snapchat, and all my friends have a Snap streak. I'm I don't care. You're not getting on Snapchat yet. We have elements of things like that within the app today, but how do we really push and modernize to make this something that every associate, the over 1 million associates that we have in our company, they're I want to be part of this. And then I would say, I think this is the most obvious thing, but we are living, working, breathing in a world, you were alluding to this a bit earlier, in a world that is very different than it was 5-10 years ago.
Right.
Everyone is a creator, everyone is creating content. Because of algorithms, anything can go viral. And it's just incredibly important that we all as brands and companies realize that this is not going to go away, and it's an opportunity to embrace something that might be scary to some.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're seeing all generations participating.
Yes, absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about trust, right, between brands and consumers. How have you learned, and you talked a little bit about this, but trusting your employees to post out content about your brand, that's an incredible amount of trust that goes in behind it. So how have you learned to kind of develop that trust with your employees to help tell your brand story?
Good question. Well, I joined Walmart 2.5 years ago, and I remember when I came into the team, I was like, wait, what? The fact that we have democratized Walmart's, like Walmart, like the biggest company, the company that is, potentially in the news at any waking moment, we're telling associates like, hey, download this app and you can post content. I can't wait to sink my teeth into what this is. And as I've learned more about it, and you mentioned this, we've had this program for 10 years or over 10 years at this point. And it was built on an insight and an existing associate behavior. Associates were going to work in the stores. They were opening their phones, as we all would do. They were taking photos and videos, and they were posting them to social media. And in many cases, there's this great new product at the store, you have to see it, or here's my fit today, here's my vest, or here's my new pin I got, or here's my favorite customer, or did you know it's her birthday? And the people at that time, it could have been so easy to just say, whoa, 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 we should probably shut this down. And there probably were some thoughts about it at that time.
Yeah.
But instead, Walmart embraced it and built what I believe to be the largest associate influencer program that I'm aware of, or at least one of the biggest. It could have just been so easy to say, we're not going to get involved in that, but they embraced it. And I think we talked, that your question was more about trust. Trust is a hard thing to earn, of course, but who better, for us, I think like it all comes down to who better to represent our brand than the people who come to work every single day that truly, like within these communities, they love Walmart. They want to share what they love about Walmart. They want to show off their friends and their teammates. Yeah. And the trust comes down to the fact that, like I said, it could have been, and it could be very easy to just say, when we see associate content, we're going to take it down. But instead, we handed the reins over. We democratized that our marketing strategy, our social media strategy. And by virtue of giving them that trust, they've given it back to us, our associates.
That's incredible. I know we're at the end of our time here, but Naomi, thank you so much for joining us today. It's great to hear from you and just your experience within these social influencer tools and what you get to do every day with us. We're very grateful for the partnership.
Thank you. Obviously could not do it without you. Thank you so much. Thank you guys all.
Thank you all.
Appreciate the time.